As some of you might already know, I'm currently looking for a job. You would know that if you watched my Dan Locke video, which I highly recommend, mostly because it's my most viewed video by a major margin. So keep shooting that up. Let's aim for 1,000 views. I'm looking for a full-time sales position job, and with everything that's going on in the world right now, I'm sure that I'm not the only person in the looking for job position. But I'm in the more fortunate position where I have a part-time job that takes care of my expenses right now, and I don't need a job. I'm just looking for one because I want to move on in my career and in my life. But with the coronavirus happening and the economy getting destroyed, at least temporarily, a lot of people are going to find themselves without a job looking for a new one. So with this video, I want to raise a bit of awareness for those unfortunate few who lost their jobs and are currently having to look for a new job in this, let's call it, terrible job market. So I want to raise some awareness, give a few tips, and help people who are maybe more fortunate to understand why looking for a job can be so mentally draining. Because when you're not looking for a job, being without a job might seem like a dream, might seem awesome. You stay at home all the time, you relax, and you just write a few resumes every once in a while, every day or every week, and then you send them out, and then you hear a response. There's not a lot of responsibility, there's not a lot that actually has to be done, no manual labor. But on the other side, as a lot of us might have experienced, from having to work from home, it can be tough balancing homework and work, home and work, and family and business, figuring out how and when to do what you're supposed to do, and how much is enough and how much isn't enough, since you're not on a tight schedule anymore. Working from home is tough enough in and of itself, but then also looking for a job is even more mentally draining, because looking for a job is inherently draining. What you do when you look for a job is that, well, you write a resume and an application, and then you send it in to a position you might find interesting. Or you send out the same thing as an unsolicited application, which is also fine. That's less draining. But if you're finding open positions and you're applying for those, you probably to some extent modify every resume you send out, and that can be tough, because in the process of looking for and finding your strengths so that you can showcase those to the potential future employer, you also have to come face to face with every single weakness you have and all your shortcomings, and you not only have to face them, you actually have to acknowledge them and maybe even make a plan to deal with them. And when we live our lives normally, when we just do our jobs and we have responsibilities that we can take care of, when our lives are routine, when we don't really do a lot of new things, that means we don't have to come face to face with all of our shortcomings. Because, well, everything we're doing, we already know how to do because we've done them 1,000 times before. But then when something new comes around, suddenly we have to come face to face with everything we can't do, and now we have to explain to our possible future employer, well, I'd say I'm bad at finishing sentences. There's a lot of mental energy that goes into finding and dealing with your shortcomings and figuring out a way you can deal with them so that an employer actually thinks you're still an attractive candidate, which I am sure you are. What makes it even worse is that we're in a terrible, terrible job market right now. So, well, the amount of opportunities here are less than what they usually would be. And there's more competition for the currently available positions. So there's a higher chance you're going to get a no, which can be depressing, getting defeated after putting so much energy and self-reflection into writing a resume for a job, and then getting rejected, maybe even without an interview, is something that can really hit a person hard. And I am experiencing this personally, but again, I'm in the fortunate position where I don't actually need a job right now, but I would like one. Even then, it can be extremely tough. So for all those people who are at home, working from home in a stable job where they feel somewhat secure, you should reach a hand out to those in your family or those in your friends who are less fortunate, who lost their jobs, and you should help them and motivate them to find a new job as fast as possible, but also be considerate of all the mental tasks and challenges they have to overcome, and maybe just try to make their lives a little easier, because losing a job is in and of itself extremely tough. But then also having to look for a job just combined together with everything that's going on, and people are having a really hard time. So if you're in a position where you have any leftover energy at all, then reach a hand out to them, make them dinner, do something for them so that they can have it a little bit easier and perhaps find a job a little bit faster. Now on to the people that are actually looking for a job. I want to give you the best advice I can give you to help you get through this time. So I've made a lot of videos on productivity and stuff, and in the past few weeks, I've actually made a couple of videos on working from home. So if you're currently looking for a job from home, you can at least make the working from home part easier if you check out the video. I will, by the way, every video I mention in this video will be linked up in the this corner. There's going to be like a small button, small eye you can press, and it's going to come up with every video I suggest in this video. And how many times can I say video in a sentence? Those, I recommend watching those because they're going to help you get through this time, and they're going to be some of mine and probably also some from some other channels that I highly recommend. So certainly go check those out. To deal with the job searching part, well, that's a bit more difficult because it's a very philosophical and very individual problem. As I said, it's about facing your weaknesses and your shortcomings, and those are personal to every person. But what I can do to recommend is that you really dig deep and find all the things you feel like you're lacking in, or that you could be lacking in the eyes of a potential employer, and then you make a plan and start executing that plan to fix that problem. Because not only is Corona going on, so everyone has way too much on their time on their hands, but you're also unemployed, so you have even more time on your hands. So this is the perfect opportunity to spend some of that extra time to deal with those shortcomings and show the employer that I'm already dealing with these problems, I'm already trying to fix these weaknesses, so by the time I get settled into the new position that you're offering, well, those won't even be a problem anymore. I'm a self-aware employee who deals with my own problems instead of just hiding them, leaving them on the shelf and hoping someone else is going to deal with it at some point. I'm an employee who takes responsibility, is what you'd be showing if you did that. So take this extra time to dig deep and figure out what those more specific, more controllable problems that you can fix. What are those, and how do you deal with them? And digging deep and finding the solutions is an extremely hard thing to do. But I have a method to deal with that. A really awesome, really simple method that not a lot of people utilize, but it's highly recommended by me. I actually made a video on it. So if you once again go up in the corner and you press the link, and you're going to see a video that's on the subject of thinking. Now, thinking is something that a lot of people think they do, but they really don't. They don't ever take the time to actually sit down and just focus on a specific problem or subject and actually really think about it. So that's what I recommend you do. And in that video, I'll outline exactly how you get into the right state of mind and into the right environment to promote proper thinking. And with absolute true thinking, you can solve pretty much any problem that you have. So again, highly, highly recommended. Go check out that video after you're finished watching this one. As some of you might have noticed, I didn't upload a video last week. That's because, as I said, I'm currently looking for a job. And now, while I don't desperately need a job, I'm not in dire need of one, I have my expenses settled, I really, really, really would like a new job because it would move my life forward in a lot of different ways. So I have made the decision to slow down my upload rate to once every 14 days. Now that is probably gonna completely and utterly stall the growth of my YouTube channel, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. And the reason I'm doing it is because I want to put more focus on finding a job, and the faster I find a job, the faster I'll have more money, more energy, more time to commit to YouTube so that I can help my YouTube channel grow even faster. So it's a long-term decision, and I'm not the biggest fan, but I believe it's the right thing to do. So you won't be hearing from me on next Thursday, but you will be instead hearing from me the Thursday after that, unless of course I get a job within the next week, but that seems extremely unlikely. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you and hearing back from you in 2 weeks' time. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you check out those other videos because they are going to be extremely helpful for you. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye. That didn't work. Bye. So, bye.